Arshile Gorky. B. Corkum, Armenia, 1904, D. Connecticut, 1948. Gorky played a key role in modern art, providing a link between European Surrealism and American Abstract Expressionism. Born Vosdanig Manoog Adoian, he changed his name after emigrating to the US, taking Arshile from the Greek hero Achilles and Gorky, Bitter One, in Russian, from left-wing author Maxim Gorky. In the 1920s and 1930s, his painting was derivative of Cezanne, Kandinsky, and Picasso. By the 1940s, he had evolved a distinctive style. Under the influence of Surrealists Breton and Roberto Matta, he began painting in a free, arbitrary manner, setting dreamlike doodlings against a background of melting colors. The fertility of nature and human sexuality were major inspirations. Gorky's painting became increasingly abstract, with color becoming decorative, not descriptive. He thinned paint so it dripped uncontrollably and thickened it to reveal gestural brushstrokes. This delight in paint for paint's sake looks forward to the abstract expressionism of the 1950s. Lifeline. 1916 family flees Turkish invasion of Armenia. 1920 joins relatives in U.S. 1926-31 teaches at Grand Central Art School, New York. 1946 fire destroys his studio. He is diagnosed with cancer. 1948 breaks neck in car crash. Later commits suicide. Diary of a Seducer. Taking a cue from the title, it is possible to see the whole of this painting as a representation of the act of copulation. It has a rolling rhythm, and in the darkness, you can make out genitalia and the swelling forms of buttock and breasts. 1945, oil on canvas, 127 by 158 centimeters, MoMA, New York, U.S. Closer look. Ambiguity. Is this shape an ear, an insect, or a waterborne organism? Gorky leaves all forms deliberately ambiguous, as they reflect his dreamlike imagination. Sexual form at the heart of the picture, the eye is drawn to a form that resembles a labia. It is almost as if the viewer is implicated in the seduction of the title. Virginia Summer. Gorky produced many graceful and fluid drawings of the Virginia landscape, which reflect a daydreaming mind. 1946, pencil and crayon on paper, 48 by 62 centimeters, Museum of Fine Arts, Houston, Texas, U.S. Water of the Flowery Mill. This picture depicts the remains of an old mill and bridge on the Housatonic River, near Gorky's home in Sherman, Connecticut. And yet the real subject seems to be paint itself. Thin, brilliant washes of color overflow and overlap in a style that looks forward to fully fledged abstract expressionism. 1944, oil on canvas, 107 by 124 centimeters, MoMA, New York, U.S. Adolph Gottlieb. B. New York, 1903, D. New York, 1974. Gottlieb adopted the term pictograph for paintings he created in the 1940s to suggest something between image making and writing. Like Rothko and Newman, he was fascinated by myth and sought a kind of painting that was timeless and tragic. The figurative elements were not related rationally. He wrote, "I take the things I know, hand, nose, arm, and use them in my paintings after separating them from their associations as anatomy." The later series, the exhilaratingly explosive bursts, 1957-74, are closer to the popular image of abstract expressionist wildness. Eyes of Oedipus. This is from Gottlieb's pictograph series. 1945, oil on canvas, 91 by 70 centimeters, Israel Museum, Jerusalem, Israel. Lee Krasner. B. Brooklyn, New York, 1908, D. New York City, 1984. Abstract expressionist Lee Krasner was better known for being the wife of Jackson Pollock. In the 1930s, she worked for the Federal Art Project and was rapidly promoted to supervisor in the mural division. However, it was under German painter Hans Hofmann that her painting flourished, and she began creating abstract still lifes and diagrammatic figure studies. In the 1940s, Krasner socialized with the first generation of abstract expressionists in New York, marrying Pollock in 1945. Her abstract expressionism varied from all over work with repeating rhythms of hieroglyphic-type signs in the late 1940s, to bold, gestural work in the late 1950s and 60s. Gothic landscape. This is one of Krasner's paintings made in the aftermath of her husband's and her mother's deaths. The violent and expressive gestural brushstrokes can be seen as reflections of her grief. 1961, oil on canvas, 177 by 238 centimeters, Tate, London, UK. Willem de Kooning. B. Rotterdam, 1904, D. East Hampton, New York, 1997. Along with Pollock and Rothko, de Kooning is the most celebrated abstract expressionist. His brushwork was bold and spontaneous, and by painting without using preliminary studies, he gave his pictures a thrilling physical immediacy. Throughout his career, de Kooning was happy making abstract and figurative work. He is best known for a series of provocative paintings of women, Women Nos 1-6, he made in the early 1950s. With their toothy snarls, pendulous breasts, and vacuous eyes all rendered with slashing, impassioned brushstrokes and dripping paint, these women were crude, ferocious, and comical. This non-traditional way of depicting women shocked the public and some critics, while fellow abstract expressionists considered de Kooning's use of figurative representation to be regressive. In the late 1950s, de Kooning painted a series of landscapes. These evolved from complex exercises in composition and color to images of broadly painted simplicity. By the 1960s, he was showing women in the landscape with flamboyant, liquid brushstrokes, revealing a painter at peace in his new Long Island home. Lifeline. 1916 apprenticed to a firm commercial artists, 1926 enters U.S. as a stowaway, settles in New Jersey, 1935-37 works on federal arts project. 1943 marries artist Elaine Fried. 1948 first one-man show in New York consists of black and white compositions. 1950-51 teaches at Yale School of Art. 1968 visits Netherlands for his retrospective at Stedelijk. 1969 begins sculpting. Painting. De Kooning stated, "Even abstract shapes must have a likeness." And here the tense curves suggest the forms of breasts, torsos, and buttocks. 1948, enamel and oil on canvas, 108 by 143 centimeters, MoMA, New York, U.S. Woman I. The first of a series of paintings of women, Woman I. went through 2 years of transformations before it was finished. Throughout, de Kooning painted the woman vigorously, almost violently, reversing traditional female representations, which he summarized as the idol, the Venus, the nude. 1950-52, oil on canvas, 193 by 147 centimeters, MoMA, New York, U.S. In context. Harold Rosenberg. Art critic Harold Rosenberg was highly influential in the success of abstract expressionism. He coined the term action painting in a 1952 article in Art News as a response to the work of Pollock and de Kooning. He celebrated action painting as a means of unleashing artists' instinctive creative forces, and as a dialogue between painter, materials, and the canvas. Harold Rosenberg, 1906-78, renowned for his fiercely intellectual criticism of art, Rosenberg also used these skills to write about politics and society.